Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This video today is actually a part 2 to a previous video that I've made about spinning when you're meditating. So I'll link below, if you haven't seen that video that I've made, it's only about 5 minutes long. I'll link it below in the comments, and then you can watch that first if you need to, or you can watch it after this one. It doesn't really matter if you do it, do it in that order. And the reason I'm making a part 2 to the spinning when meditating, video, original video that I did a good few months back now, is because it has had a lot of attention. It's had lots and lots of views, it's had lots and lots of comments, and there's been lots and lots of questions and queries raised from that original video. So first of all, thank you so much to everybody who's asked questions. Thank you so much to everybody that has commented. Thank you so much to everybody that supports me, because I really appreciate it. I love talking about this subject, and if I can help people to understand what is happening when you spin, when you're meditating a little bit more, then that makes me happy. So what I've done is just as an overview, in my original video, what I say in that video is just to give you an idea, is when I was spinning, when I was meditating, when the body takes on like an internal, it's like an internal spin, but the body is actually moving, but you're not consciously doing it. The body starts spinning or moving on its own. And when I tuned in to what that was, I actually asked my higher self. You can ask your higher self these questions as well. You may get different answers, or you may get something similar, or you may get an expanded version of what I got. So what I asked is, why does this happen? So I was in a meditative relaxed state, and I asked my higher self, and the answer came immediately, and my higher self told me it's stabilization. You're being stabilized while you are opening up your energy body. Okay, so if you think about it, when we're meditating, we are however you come into your relaxed state, whether it's breath work or whether you just, you've got a certain routine that you do to get into that relaxed state, then what happens is, when you're relaxed and present and the mind is starting to quiet down, you are becoming more open, and you become more expansive, and your energy field opens up. And depending on what type of meditation you're doing, the likelihood is you're connecting in to the cosmos, you're connecting into the universal energy. So as that happens, the energy body will automatically start stabilizing itself without you even realizing what it's doing. Okay, and all I would say with regards to that, the first thing that our conscious mind does, our logical mind that likes to analyze everything, will say, what's that? Why is that happening? Is this normal? Is it okay? Is it safe? Do I need to be worried? Should I stop? That's just the nature of the inquiring mind starts to turn on and says, what's going on? So it's not anything to worry about. It's all completely normal. But if we're only now starting the meditation journey and we've never been used to that before, we might start wondering what it is. Okay, so it's just the energy body doing what the energy body does. Okay, and when this starts happening, it makes you realize that you're far more of a vast being than just the physical body. There's more layers to you than you realize. You're a multi-dimensional self, and you're very much more of an energy body more than anything else. And that is what starts moving as you're spinning. So I've written down some of the questions that I got asked. A good old, I'm not very good at editing videos, to be honest with you. So I can't do all this cool stuff where I can put the questions up on the screen. I probably can, but it would probably take me a long time to figure it all out, and you're probably waiting a long time for this video. So what I've just done it the good old-fashioned way. I've written down some of the questions that came up, and I'm just going to attempt to answer them the best way I can. Okay, so what somebody said, that it happens as soon as they close their eyes, as soon as they go into a surrendered state, the spinning starts happening immediately. Yeah, so sometimes it might take a little while to get into a relaxed state before it starts happening. And sometimes as soon as you close your eyes, your body knows what you're doing. As soon as you start surrendering to the now moment, as soon as you start coming into that relaxed, peaceful state, you're opening, you're more open. You're less closed because you're not holding yourself rigid. So you're more open, which means that that movement just starts coming in straight away. Sometimes it happens to me as soon as I intend to open the crown chakra, which is the chakra that resides at the top of the head. As soon as I set the intention that I'm going to open the crown chakra, that's when the movement comes in. Okay, and the spinning can change depending on what type of frequency I'm trying to connect with in my meditations. So it's probably likely the same for you as well. You might find that the spin changes. Okay, and that's all normal and it's all perfect for you. It's all exactly how it should be. And the most important thing I can say here is just go with it. Go with it and relax into it. If you want to be curious about it, that's fine. If the mind starts overanalyzing, the mind can never truly understand what happens outside of the physical, okay? So we can attempt to understand it, but don't allow your mind to go off on a tangent too much with it, because it is something that kind of goes beyond that logical thinking, really. And what somebody else said as well is that they've realised that the spin is clockwise when there's cosmic energy, so the energy of the sky, the energy of the sun, things like that. What this person said that they experienced was when they were connecting with that energy, the spin would be clockwise, and when they were connecting in with earthly energy and the stabilization was coming through the earth, the spin would be anti-clockwise. So I suppose when you think about like plugs or something like that, and when water goes down the drain, it spins a certain way, doesn't it, as it's moving downwards. So that's also very interesting. So yes, absolutely, I do find that my spin will change. Sometimes I'll be going anti-clockwise and then it'll stop and then I'll be moved clockwise. So that's interesting. Someone else says, does it come from within or is it external? There is nothing outside of you, really. Everything that looks like it's outside isn't really outside. It's all a projection of your own being, of the nucleus of who you are. Everything is actually within on a level of the mind. So that is coming from within you, but your energy fields also extend out. So it's kind of a bit of both, really. Okay. So, but the answer to that is that it's all coming from within you. The energy fields, yes, they do extend outside, but everything that you are is coming from within and is projected outwards. So it's your own self that it's coming from, your own vast multidimensional self, your energy self, okay, your energy body that it's coming from. So what somebody else said as well is the release of muscle tension and certain breath work. When the muscles are relaxing, the spin might get stronger and faster. Yeah, so the more you relax and go with it, sometimes you could be spinning really, really fast. Sometimes I do get that, where I think, wow, I'm going really, really fast. And it's really, really kind of a strong spin. And you just go with it. All I can say is just go with it, because whatever is happening is right for you, and the frequency that you're connecting into as you're relaxing, as you're surrendering, as you're meditating on whatever it is you're meditating on, you are being stabilized and the spin is happening in line with the frequency that you're connecting into. Okay. Someone said that sometimes it makes them feel dizzy inside the head and sometimes nauseous. Yeah. And what happens sometimes, if that spin feels very much like it's inside the head, which it does sometimes, some people don't get too much of a strong spin externally, but they get more of an internal, like in the head spin. And yeah, what happens sometimes is as the body starts spinning, if you can feel it more inside the head, and sometimes it's making you feel a little bit nauseous, what that spin is doing is actually clearing something. As the spin is going, it's clearing out any toxicity, it's clearing out any density, any heaviness, things like that. So as it's doing that and it's really spinning, it might make you feel a little bit like that. But again, breathe through it. Know that there's an intelligence behind it and go with it and just keep breathing, okay? And the more you do that, the more the spin will clear anything that needs to be clear. It's almost like a detox takes place with it as well sometimes, okay? Someone else also said that they get REM movement, so rapid eye movement, when they're in this state of meditation, so that their eyes move. So all I can say there is, again, that we're all different. So somebody may well go into that rapid eye movement state, which generally normally just comes on when you're about to, you know, on the brink of sleep, or when you're going into a sleep state, the rapid eye movement will happen. But for some reason, this person obviously goes into some sort of altered state where that rapid eye movement sort of kicks in. So again, that's what happens. That's what needs to happen for you. So it's okay. Somebody else also said that the movement happens a lot more in the hands and the head. So if you find that your hands are moving a lot, you have energy systems in the hand as well. So the body knows where where it needs to move through for you. So somebody else might not get much movement in the hands, but if you get movement in the hands, that's perfect for you. Because what happens as well is when we come into this surrendered state, yes, we spin, but sometimes the body will move involuntary as well. And what the body is doing there, and sometimes it will shift energy through the hands as well, is it's also releasing anything from the body that you don't need. So how it does that is, as you're relaxing and you're coming into alignment with a relaxed, peaceful state, anything that is not relaxed and peaceful, so any energy that you might be holding, any old emotion, anything that's stuck in the body, starts releasing. So it's doing you a favour, because actually it's moving energy through. And some people might get that a lot in the hands. And a good way of releasing energy is shaking the hands. So if you're in a meditative state and your hands are moving a lot, then there's some sort of release happening. And if the body feels it needs to move it from the head, then it will move the head. Just go with it, because there is some sort of release happening there. There is some sort of energy moving out of the system. Go with it, okay? And someone else said, my spin differs depending on the frequency or meditation. Yeah, absolutely. So some of you might just be doing sort of regular meditations where you're just trying to start off on your journey and clearing the mind. But as you go along your meditation journey, you may like to connect with certain frequencies. There's certain cosmic flames that you can call in. There's certain higher beings that you might want to communicate with. There's certain energies that you would like to, higher vibrational energies that you would like to tune into. And what you notice is, as you do this, the spin will be different, because the frequency that you're connecting into is different. So the stabilization, the spin needs to be different to receive it and to keep you grounded. Okay, so yeah, absolutely. And what I wanted to say there, because I've written a note to myself there. What I do is, after I've been doing, like, say, a meditation that's gone on for 20 minutes or half an hour, say, and for most of that meditation I was spinning for the whole thing, moving, just sitting with it and allowing it to happen. What's quite nice to do afterwards is because the energy, once you've finished the meditation and the spinning has stopped, once you've come out of the meditation, you can still sort of feel the energy body moving as if it's still spinning a little bit. So it's almost like there's a tingly feeling all around you, a nice feeling, a pleasant feeling. And what's quite nice to do is just to sit with that energy for a little while. Feel that vibrancy that's been created in your energy field from the spin. Feel the energy body absorb whatever you need to absorb from that movement, and sit in that feeling afterwards. And that's a really nice way to kind of integrate it as well, any energies that you've been tuning into. Sit in that feeling of almost as if that energy body is still moving. Just allow yourself to sit quietly in that, okay? And what I do as well is sometimes, is when I'm coming to the end of a meditation, is I will intend to close the spin. So the spin is happening because you've really opened up your energy field. So what I like to do at the end of a meditation sometimes is I like to say, right, I intend to close the spin down now. I intend to bring my energy back to its normal state when I'm not meditating. You know, I intend to draw my energy back in and close the spin down so that you're not kind of getting up and going about your day with all these crown chakras still open and everything, you know, and your energy body open, which is fine. It's great, but personal preference for me is I like to just close the spin down at the end. And as soon as you set the intention, so say you're spinning like this and you set the intention that the spinning stops, as soon as you set that intention, it stops almost immediately. Okay. And someone else also said that they find that when they're doing meditation, obviously they're experimenting with different things, and they've experimented with mudras. Now, mudras are shapes that you hold your hand in. So, for example, the Gaian mudra is where the index finger and thumb touch, and you're just holding them gently in your lap. Mudras have got a certain energy behind them, very, very old, sort of Sanskrit yoga techniques, things like that, where if you hold your hands in a certain mudra, they represent a certain symbol or energy or power or something. And what somebody said was that when I hold my hands in Gaian mudra, I don't seem to spin as much. And with certain mudras, they stabilize you. Even just holding your hands in a certain position will help to stabilize you. So perhaps your energy field doesn't need to spin as much when you're holding your hands in a certain mudra. So I would recommend looking into mudras as well, because they're very interesting. Hand mudras, M-U-D-R-A. Okay. And then somebody else as well said that it could be Kundalini energy. Now, yes, Kundalini energy, huge subject. I'm not an expert on that, but I do know that when I do some Kundalini meditations and certain exercises with a qualified teacher. And sometimes when I'm doing a Kundalini meditation, I can feel that energy moving up the spine. But I find when the Kundalini activates, when I'm doing Kundalini work, when it activates, because it activates on its own, you don't force it, you allow it to activate on its own. What Kundalini energy is it's a divine, creative, raw fire that sits at the base of your spine. And with most people it's dormant. But if you do Kundalini energy work or meditations or yoga, you start awakening that energy. But also that energy can awaken by itself as well when it's ready, even if you're not doing that type of exercise. But that is a huge subject. But I do feel like sometimes when my Kundalini energy wakes up and activates, it moves up the spine. But I do more of this movement rather than a spin. But yes, it's all part of one and the same thing, really, all coming from the sort of the base of the spine up. So yeah, it could well be that as well. But if you're moving in this type of movement, sometimes that's my sign that my Kundalini energy is starting to move up the spine. But with Kundalini, what I'll say there is a huge subject that I wouldn't be able to cover in this video totally, but it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. So if that's something you feel you might be interested in, I would highly recommend researching it. But find yourself someone who's a really, really good teacher, because Kundalini fire is very, very potent. You know, it's very powerful energy. And what it does is when it's ready to awaken, it'll move from the base of the spine all the way up. And sometimes what happens is when somebody is ready, that Kundalini energy will blast through any blockages in the chakras and clear them out. What is sometimes known as a spontaneous Kundalini awakening. But what I find is when mine moves, I move in this sort of movement where it's almost like a swaying movement. And my Kundalini energy, I can feel it moving up the spine, and it stops at the throat. It stops at my throat because I know that I do have a blockage in my throat from a past life, right at the back there, that I'm trying to work on. And that Kundalini energy knows that it's not the time for it to just blast through that chakra yet. So it'll hover there for a little bit, my head might move a little bit, and then it'll settle back down. Okay, but there's a huge, huge primordial raw intelligence to Kundalini energy. So I would highly recommend researching and looking into that if that's something you feel that might be activating within you, and if that's something you feel you might be interested in. So that's just a little bit more of a sort of a broader look at spinning when meditating. But to close this video, what I would say is try not to overanalyze it too much. Go with it, breathe through it. You're being stabilized. Okay, this is what my higher self told me, and it completely makes sense if you think about it, because you're opening up, your energy feels really, really wide when you're relaxed and meditating. So you need to be stabilized. Go with it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.